You're listening to Drinks and a Movie with your host, Rudy. Spoiler alert.
Yo, Drinks and a Movie podcast. I'm back here with Carissa.
Hey.
And we are going to be discussing the 2024 film by Claire Forget.
Coralie Farge.
Coralie Farge.
She's French.
We're talking The Substance, starring Demi Moore and Margaret Qualley and Dennis Quaid. But first, we're going to be drinking the... what brewery is the Fall Brewing Company from San Diego? This is the Goo Goo Muck. Goo Goo Muck Hazy IPA. Oh, whoops. Super citrusy with a little bit of pine notes. Why'd you pick this one, Carissa?
Because that green ass marketing thing on there.
Yeah, the can, the label.
The label. I was like, ooh, Goo Goo Muck. It's almost like The Substance.
Yeah, it's got that green.
It's got that nice green.
Yeah, well, here we go. All right. Sorry, I know I did a terrible pour.
It's okay. I forgive you. It's a plastic cup. What are we going to do?
I guess we'll wait a second so that can at least dissipate a bit.
It smells really nice.
Yeah, it does say, super citrusy with a little bit of pine notes. Yeah, there we go. Mm-hmm.
I like it.
Oh, yeah, that's good.
Oh, it is piney. Tastes like...
I haven't had like a hazy I've really liked in a while, yeah. The pine on like the back end on the finish is really nice.
It's really nice. And it doesn't have too much of a hoppy ending taste to it, so I can handle this one. All right, Goo Goo Muck.
That's good. Goo Goo Muck, Fall Brewing Company. All right, hell yeah. Well, yeah, I guess that's that. Okay.
Delicious.
Well, let's get into this movie now. The Substance. You saw this when it came out.
You know I did. I was so excited about this because I love Coralie Farge. I was obsessed when she had her first movie, Revenge.
Oh, you've seen it?
Yes.
I haven't seen that one. I want to watch it now because
you have to. I was more obsessed, like the actress in it. Oh my gosh, I was like, she is so hot. She's so gorgeous. She's so pretty. I was like in love with her.
To give the quick synopsis of this, I'm just going to read it off IMDb real quick. A fading celebrity takes a black market drug, a cell-replicating substance that temporarily creates a younger, better version of herself. Well said, whoever wrote that. And yeah, I mean, I finally saw it just a couple weeks ago. I think it got reintroduced into theaters because award season, as some other movies are going through. So it's nominated for 5 Academy Awards. Best Achievement in Makeup and Hairstyling, Best Motion Picture of the Year, Wild, Best Achievement in Directing, and Best Performance by an Actress in a Leading Role. Oh, and also Best Original Screenplay. So I think that's really cool because typically I feel like these types of films are overlooked by the Academy, when it comes to the Oscars. But then again, the Oscars don't really mean shit because we live in a world where Emilia Perez is causing some controversy because it was nominated for 13, which is like more than The Godfather and Citizen Kane and like some of the greatest movies of all time. So that's a whole other topic, but plenty of people are covering all of that, and the controversy is ongoing, which is funny. But anyway, it's just nice to see a movie like this get some recognition. And I didn't see it when it initially came out because it's weird to do this without headphones. When it initially came out, because I'm not into body horror, and I knew that was a lot that I had to do with. But I do remember seeing the trailer like long before it got released, and I remember I'm like, okay, here we go, French director. It has like a Gaspar Noé kind of vibe, like the trailer and everything. I think I thought initially that it was a Gaspar Noé movie, to be honest. Clearly it was not. And I think you get a sense of some of those similar kind of characteristics throughout the movie. It's definitely not your typical conventional like Hollywood American style of filmmaking. But I mean, I know you had a lot to say about it. You were telling me I had to watch this for a long time.
I know. So. I was, because at first I was like, I was really, I heard like a few things about it. I didn't really hear much though, because like nobody was really talking about this movie until it kind of hit the theaters. And then everybody was so like torn with, I hated it. I loved it. Everybody flipped out, or all my people who like love mainstream movies, they're like, the last 30 minutes was bullshit. What was that? I'm like, you don't understand. Like, it was just funny trying to like explain these types of things to people because nobody really got it. But I loved it. I thought it was fantastic. it was such a fun movie, and it really did kind of like go fucking off the rails. And I think that's what I loved about it so much. I remember just sitting there and being like, wow.
I remember you hit me up like right after you saw it, and you're like, dude, I remember
I was
very
like, there are no rules.
Yeah. You're like, there's no rules. You could do anything.
I could do
it's
anything.
all fun. Yeah. But yeah, no, it's like all the I think you're the only person I know personally that saw it, but I watch a lot of movie talk and movie reviewers and listen to a lot of just movie people on YouTube and other places. And everybody was raving about this movie for a long time. Like, it seemed like the majority was really saying it was like one of the best movies of the year by far, if not the best, up to the point that it had come out and whatnot. And even still, like, so many people I see are like, no, this is like the movie. And I think for me, I don't think I would watch it again anytime soon. But I can say, even for me, like, yeah, of the movies I saw this year, and I realized I didn't see that many new films in 2024. When everyone was coming up with their list and shit, I was like, wow, I barely watched anything. But I put this up there. Like, for me, it's still Strange Darling by far number one. But this movie, even though I wouldn't necessarily watch it again anytime soon, unless I was going to show it to someone who hasn't seen it, like, this is definitely up there. Like, it's one of the best of the year, and I hope it's remembered as such. And again, it's not conventional, so I love that it's getting the recognition where everything is so sequels and remakes and cookie cutter and formulaic. This is very much not that at all.
At all. And I'm so happy that they did this movie. And I remember that I was reading this interview with Carly Farge, and they were talking about the ending. And then she's like, this is why I wanted to kind of like keep doing my own thing, because a lot of people wanted us to tone it down. She's like, no. She's like, I can't tone this down. Like, the ending cannot be toned down. Like, that's the whole, you know, it's the crescendo. It is like, you know, the crescendo of the movie. And I'm really happy that she was able to make this movie with such big names too. Like, oh my gosh. And I'm so happy that Demi Moore was so on board with all this crazy stuff. I was just like, dude, this is wild.
And it's good for her too. Budget's $17.5 million. So I think it's so good for her too, because I feel like she's, you know, kind of been out of the light, I want to say, for a while. And then with this movie being about a actress, like an Oscar-winning actress who's like past her heyday, and like when you get someone who's kind of been through that arc, you know, I think is important. And yeah, it's so interesting, and it's so well casted, and it's cool to see her like get these accolades and win these awards, and
because she never did before, right?
I feel like she did at some point.
I remember her saying, she was like, I watched an interview with her, and she was like, you know, my agent said, like, I am not an Oscar actress, I'm a popcorn actress. Meaning that people go to the movies just to like see her act, but she's not a good actress. So she was saying she was really excited about getting her nominee here. Yeah.
Let's see. Oh, she got a Saturn for Ghost, but
yeah, that's like
okay. Yeah, no, I guess so. And
I think this is her first Academy.
Yeah, no, it looks like it from what I just saw. But yeah, no, I mean that's crazy, and it's true, and that's kind of what the movie is about, right? It's like when you get to a certain age and you don't even exist anymore, particularly like if you're a woman, right? Like, yeah, I feel like guys tend to sometimes age even better.
Yeah, everybody's like, oh, you have all the time,
right? But sometimes, not all of us. There's only a few that get that. But her performance in this is really outstanding, and also, I mean, she really goes for it. And you know what I mean when I say that? Like, she just like no stone unturned, like balls to the wall. Even to when I'm watching this, I'm like, damn, man, like, good for you for fucking going for it. Like, everything you're doing. And there's so many layers to the performance.
There's so much. Like, this movie has so much in it. I'm just like, I don't even know if we could like do a whole walkthrough. You know what I mean? Because I'm like, there's just so much, and there's just so much to talk about with it.
Well, and just the roller coaster that she goes on is like a character from where we see her in the beginning, like still doing her fitness thing and trying to hang on to this, and then deciding to use the substance, and when she starts kind of like losing her mind over it. And you know, I watched her because you did a YouTube video with your like kind of explaining it, going through the movie. So everyone go to YouTube and watch Carissa's video. I finally watched it. It took me forever because I needed to see the movie first.
Yeah,
so I felt bad because I was like, oh, I can't like like her video because I got to watch it. But
right.
So I saw it.
So what do you think about my first video? It's pretty good, right?
No, it was good. Like you edited it well and, threw everything in there. I was a little, and I guess this is just me. I was wondering if you were going to mention something. And I think I mentioned this to you when I was texting you about it after I walked out there's a little bit of like a Gaspar Noé vibe to me in like some, little regards, but there is a lot of like Stanley Kubrick influence.
Oh, 100%. The hallway.
Yeah. Particularly the Shining.
Yes. Oh yeah.
And even the restroom, like when Dennis Quaid goes into the restroom, like the red walls and shit.
Bro.
And I love that shot so much when he just like walks into that wide angle close up and it's like just his mouth, like just the weirdest, most unflattering like frame. As he's like half the year.
Oh my god!
Like what does he say? Like when did she win her Oscar? Like in the silent film, he says some fucking comment like
some
that.
Old ass. Yeah, yeah.
The hallway, like those very saturated colors, the carpet pattern. I feel like there was a couple other moments too that really made me think of it when she starts kind of going crazy and like overeating and losing her hair and she's like in the robe and just vacuuming and she's watching the TV and you see like the sunken spot on the chair.
Yeah, and then she's like looking out her window and it's like her in her beautiful form took over. It
made me think a lot of Requiem for a Dream too. Like just I think the color like the mom.
The mom
like
sitting in the fridge.
A little bit of that vibe. And I swore there was a point when she's watching TV that she's watching like Jeopardy or some kind of show, and they reference John Carpenter's The Thing in there. I'm pretty sure it happens for like a second. And what's so funny is like the ending when she takes the activator again and like becomes this monstrosity. Like that was totally The Thing. That was like
that 100% split open.
Was so the Thing.
Oh my gosh, the faces all stuck on it.
Yeah, man. It's so there's a lot of that influence, but I think it's done in a really good way. Like I feel like unless you're a bit of a movie nerd, it's not like, oh, she just stole that and stole this and stole that.
No, exactly.
And it works and it really creates this world and it's thought out so well. Like, you mentioned the hallway, like the red hallway and like the photos of her like all throughout the hall. And then eventually when they're all gone and it's just blank and it looks like it's never ending and a lot of wide angle lenses. And oh man, it's just like a very clear vision. And we don't always see that as often as we should from directors. There's not a lot of great auteurs anymore like there used to be. So it's cool to see somebody come up that is very much like clear in their vision. And I really got to see Revenge now. Like I really got to watch that.
Loved that movie. It's kind of ridiculous. Like there's some obviously ridiculous points, but that movie is so amazing. Matilda Lutz is so amazing. She's the actress in it. And it like the ending was an absolute bloody mess too. Like an absolute bloody mess. And I was just like, man, this movie, it was, you have to watch it. I really liked it. I usually don't like revenge movies like that, but this one was fun. It was really, really, really well done. It's good. You should just watch it. Just watch it. You're going to love it.
Yeah, I'll definitely watch.
But man, The Substance, fantastic. I think the part that just really threw everybody off though was at the very end when she did turn into, what was the name of the creature? Oh my gosh.
It was like a blend of something Monstro. Like I forgot the two names.
Oh gosh. Eliza Sue Monstro or something. Sue Eliza Monstro. Monstro Eliza Sue. One of those three. But I think that's where everybody, because I did recommend everybody to watch it, and everybody's like, Carissa, what the hell? I'm like, you guys. Like,
was that really the part that set them off though? It's like leading up to, it's like I knew something big was going to happen at the end. It's like clearly this is the way we're going.
Yeah.
Like the movie is already so wild up to that point. You know what shot really stands out to me? And this shit made me laugh is when Margaret Qualley, is she Sue?
Yeah, she's Sue. Yeah.
When Sue, like, there's one point where now she has like a boyfriend, and clearly they've been together for a while because.
Oh my gosh! Okay, so she sucks out all of like the stem cells.
So this is after she's been like overusing the shit, right?
And she's in. Oh my god!
When she ends up like is hurting or whatever, so she has to switch over. So she's in the room and her naked ass boyfriend's there, and he's like banging on the door, and she turns back into like the old, like the super old, like fucked up Demi Moore now, Elizabeth.
Or she would die,
And there's a shot when she walks through the door, and they show there's a lot of ass in this movie. So if you don't
there's
like
a lot
ass,
of nudity and stuff.
a lot of nudity, but like specifically there's
booties.
a big thing about ass in this, like straight up. Like, so when they're, just, you'll know when you see it. But they show like the old, Elizabeth, weird ass, but then it does this sudden like jump cut reverse to like the guy's ass.
And it's all nice and like firm and taut and like beautiful. It's like,
I just thought that was like so funny to me. And even in that same time about like Stanley Kubrick in The Shining, they even do the same shot where the camera is like on the floor looking up when she's like trying to, holding the door closed or whatever.
Fantastic.
That's just hilarious, man.
But yeah, that's when stuff started getting pretty crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, it's, the Dennis Quaid character named Harvey. He was great too, though. He was so funny and like on point with all those guys.
Dude, the one time I told you when I was I think I texted Tony, and I was like, I the one part I couldn't stand is because, I can't listen to people eat or like drink.
Yeah, right.
So when at the beginning, when he's doing that shrimp, I sat there and I was like getting like physically angry.
And they just show like the extreme close-ups of his teeth.
It was so gross. But what a perfect way to like represent, And I loved the intro for this. I loved how they gave her the Hollywood star of fame, and I loved how they introduced her and everything. And then it broke, which led to the perfect
like over time,
which led to the most ridiculous ending in any movie ever, where her face.
That shit was great. Just like a crawl.
Crawled and like claymation died out. I was like,
that shit was so.
I was like, wow. And that's when I'm like, Rudy, there are no rules anymore in movie making.
And that's the stuff where you gotta laugh, right? Like, and that's what they want. That's definitely what they're going for. Like the whole blood splatter on everybody was so. Did you watch the behind the scenes for it? I did, yeah. Yeah, it was like these cannons and hoses of blood.
It's crazy.
I love that.
It was.
Excuse me. Sorry,
I love when Eliza Sue Monstro Eliza Sue was getting ready, and she's like straightening her like 2 strands of hair and curling it. But I liked how at that point she like accepted who she was, and she's like, okay, I'm ready. Like I'm good. Instead of trying to hide how there's so many like underlying.
It's me.
It's me. It's me. And everybody's like, you monster. Like, fuck you. And I was like, this is so sad. Oh my God.
Yeah.
And her Cinderella
they're
dress.
Literally just like the monster. The monster. Like pitchforks and torches.
Yeah.
I was expecting all that shit to come out. But one thing too is, clearly this movie has something to say, right? And it's so funny because I hate when the messaging in movies, I hate when they lecture the audience. I hate when they beat the audience over the head with some fucking agenda, when they're checking boxes to meet whatever criteria they, put on. What was that?
Nothing.
Do you disagree though?
No, I agree.
Okay.
When they make it too like in your face, you're like, bro, give it a rest already.
Yeah. Let's just tell the story and let the art and the story do the fucking work without, I always think like a perfect example for me is Barbie, right? And the movie is good. I liked it, but I hated the scene where America Ferrera is doing, and this is the part that so many people love, when she's doing the monologue about like how tough it is to be a woman and all that.
Yeah. And
we don't need to like dig into that unless you want to, but it just, again, it's so overt. It's in your, like you're literally, you're lecturing us, and it's like, just shut the fuck up.
Like we're here for the movie. We get what the movie is. You don't have to like spoon feed it to us. We get it, guys.
And this operates in this very interesting zone where on one hand I'm like, no, it's not overt, but then it is at the same time because it's so clear in like what it is and what it's saying, but it's done in just like a fun and creative and non-lecturing way and in a very visual way. Again, we're talking about like asses, right? when Margaret Qualley, Sue or whatever, first comes out and she's doing her first like shoot of the video series, and there's like the camera angle, and I love that it's shot like all this glamorous shit, and it's so over the top, but yet you're like, oh shit, that's like some real shit, you know? It's just, and it's done visually. It's not like telling you.
Yeah, it's not like she's there like, oh, I'm 50 years old.
Yeah,
my life is so hard. She's just like, fuck.
Yeah, that's the difference, right?
Yeah.
And I love this moment so much. I thought this was brilliant. And this might be in that realm of being like pretty overt, but I think it was handled super well. Is when something happens where like a fat or something protrudes from her leg when they're shooting.
Oh my
and they're
gosh,
just like, oh, we have to do the replay.
Yeah,
like,
she's like,
and it's
no.
like all the, and of course they make it a point to make the crew all men, even though I've never in my life been in a crew that's all men.
Yeah, but they're all standing there looking at the cameras and her like boobs and her. Yeah,
but they're playing the playback on like the biggest screen.
Yeah,
and everyone just like
staring at her ass in the air, like, oh.
They're just like, yeah, keep moving. I mean that is, and there is something to that, right? Of like having every little detail of you be scrutinized when you're somebody that is on camera.
Yeah, and like almost sexualized like that.
Yeah,
you know?
No, definitely. But I mean, at the same time, though, where it's like they is like the workers don't even think about it in a sexual way.
It looked at it like it's work.
This is just work. This is just like, oh, there's a blemish there, you know, like it doesn't even faze them. But as the audience, because and that's interesting, right? Mm-hmm. We're put in a way where we're seeing it as like it's over sexualized and everything, and it is. But we are uncomfortable, as we should be. But the people that are working there, and this is what they do, are so unfazed by it, you know? And that's the, I mean, you know, I worked in a certain industry for a while. And that's very much it. You're just like, fucking, when are we getting out of here?
When is lunch? Is it taking for long?
Yeah.
What the heck?
Like, I just want to go home. Yeah, I mean, there's something to that, but that was a really great moment among many great moments.
So many. One of my favorite scenes with Demi Moore, besides the beginning when she sees that guy from her high school. Mm-hmm. And he's like, oh my gosh, you're famous. Here's my number. And he drops the thing in the nasty muck water and hands it to her still. And she's like, oh, thank you. Gross. But then when she's like, I'm going to go out after she does the whole switch and everything, she's like, I'm going to go out. I want to go feel good about myself. She calls the guy. She gets ready, and then she looks out the window, and I feel like that apartment's like, you know, she's like just looking out at Sue on the billboard, and then she goes back and tries to put on more makeup and keeps putting on more makeup, and then that's what, I mean, one of the famous scenes in the whole trailer of her like freaking out, wiping out the lipstick, and she doesn't go out, and it's so like, that was at like one of the saddest parts, because I'm like, oh my gosh, like, I, as a woman, have felt like that. I'm not even 50. I felt like that so many times, being like, I don't look good enough. I don't want to go out. Oh, I'm just going to stay in. And I feel like that's why I kind of love the ending, because even as Monstro Sue, she's still like, I'm going to go out. And she's like an abomination. Yeah. And I'm like, wow, heartwarming. And then, of course, everybody's just like, meh.
But it's almost, I feel like the monster version is like a third version of this too, and that's like the third one.
She's like, I'm so happy.
Like, back there with her fucking face
just like
so creepy.
It's so that was so creepy, and I loved. And this, I think, was a perfect like example of Dennis Quaid's character Harvey, when like, you know, all of Sue's teeth were falling out, and she's trying to run in the hallway, and he's like, smile, and she's like, like tears coming down her face. They're like beautiful. She's crying. Her teeth are falling out. She's having a breakdown. They're like, there's that smile. I'm just like, oh my God.
I love that too. I'll just walk up with all the other suits and everything. It's like just the use of the wide lens too. But no, bringing up that, I'm glad you brought up that scene with the makeup and her gonna go out. Like, that is the most heartbreaking, saddest, and even with all the monster and blood stuff, like, to me, that's probably the hardest part to watch. Dude, is that, because I think that comes across. And again, they're not saying anything. It's all visual, but you understand. Even as like I'm not a woman, right? I've never had to put on makeup or anything, but even and I think anybody, that's when you know it's executed well. It's like, you know what's happening. Yeah, you understand like the weight that this has, and it's very unfortunate to see, because And they make us think too. It's like, oh wow, she's so beautiful and she's good. And you're rooting for, at this point, you're rooting for her.
Mm-hmm.
You want her, like, you know what? Yeah, give the nice guy a chance, I guess. Like, you're gonna go.
You're going out, girl. Go do it. You look amazing.
She looks amazing. And then that's the thing. She just keeps putting on more and more and changing, and it just gets worse and worse and worse. And that's like, I don't know. Maybe I'm bad for saying this, and you can take me to task on it if I am. But I think that's part of this whole. I guess this has always been a thing, right? Like plastic surgery and shit. Mm-hmm. But I think it's worse now because there's Instagram and TikTok and the filters.
There's filters and stuff.
And that stuff is destroying the minds of everybody, particularly, and who am I to say this, but like women. Like I have some beautiful, beautiful, gorgeous fucking friends that are like addicted to this filter shit. And I'm just like, what are you doing? Like it doesn't, or like, obscene amounts of Photoshop. I have one friend, I'm not going to say her name, but like one of the most beautiful people I've ever seen, like incredible.
Yeah.
But does all this Photoshop and shit. And I'm like, dude, it's like, now you look like an abomination.
No,
like,
now you look crazy. But
that's the thing. And I think that's the point too. It's like you get to such an obscene degree of that where it's like, no, what are you
destroyed yourself. Like you were beautiful before, and that's like, kind of what the substance, she keeps doing it, and then she just like destroys herself.
Yeah, and people like, and it's sad, man, that like people just can't. And that's the industry. That's the scrutiny of everybody, right? There's so many factors that are, and that's a culture of like decades and decades and decades that this has been just made over decades. This like belief that you can't just age
gracefully
and just like, no, that's it. Like we all get old, man. You gotta accept it.
That's a thing. I was talking to Ben about this. I was like, we are like, nobody is going to outwit age. We are all gonna get old. Mm-hmm. We are all gonna get old. We're all gonna die, guys. I don't know when. Sorry of it, but like it is what it is. You know what I mean?
No amount of facelifts is gonna change.
No amount of facelifts. But will I just say Lindsay Lohan looks amazing right now? Have you seen her?
Yeah, no, Sally was talking to her. She's like, who the fuck did that? Like
who did that?
How did that happen? How did you go back to
like whose baby's blood did you fucking rub all over your face? You look amazing.
Yeah, who yeah, there's some dark Hollywood shit going on.
There's some dark Hollywood shit going on, guys. We live here, we know it. But no, but that's 100%. And the thing is, I feel with my generation, I am a little bit older, is that I was around when there were no filters in phones, guys. Mm-hmm. And I can't imagine like my little sister, you know what I mean? Or her friends that are like a little bit younger. I'm like, there was never a time that you weren't able to, you could always just alter your appearance and it was okay.
Yeah, that's the saddest thing is because it's like high school kids doing that shit. And I can't help but feel like it's all by design, right? Like to me, and people laugh when I say shit like this, but I'm like, there is some super villain out there that is doing this for some reason, like destroying the youth and therefore the rest of humanity.
Yeah.
And that's way to get people in their heads to just fucking destroy
to worry about themselves instead of what's going on in the world. And then you're just so I mean, listen, we can go on and on about these theories because
I got to be careful what I say too, because there's some actresses out there, man, that look like they're wearing a fucking mask of themselves. No,
it's crazy. Or you just see people like, I used to love watching Botched, and I'm like, how do these people think this looks good? Like when somebody has like a really bad BBL, I'm like, how do you think this looks good? Right. How?
It just falls into that like addictive.
It is, and it's just like it's like the body dysmorphia thing, and that's a real. That's a thing. It's crazy, and
even
sucks.
like Mickey Rourke and shit. It's like,
oh my god, did you see the movie? Jeremy was in the movie. Did you watch it?
No,
I was in that movie too.
What's the name of the movie? Let's plug it.
Oh my gosh! They changed it. It's Murder Motel now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It looks like he's wearing
starring my cousin Jeremy, Luke, Mickey Rourke. Bro, you won't recognize him.
Yeah, it's like if you made someone made a Halloween mask of me when I was like 19, and I'm like wearing it.
No,
that's what that shit looks like.
That's what we should do for the next horror movie. We'll just make like our own little Halloween masks. Yeah.
Yeah.
That uncanny valley.
Now I'm gonna get destroyed on this podcast because we're just like talking shit on celebrities. Yeah, I have seen that shit. That's rough.
That's rough. My cousin looks good though, huh? Cousin Jer, we love you, Cousin Jer. We're not talking shit. We're just talking how it is, and it's just rough.
Mickey Rourke is no longer going to be on the podcast.
No, we'll get him on there. We'll see what he has to say.
No, I don't know that I have much more to add on it. I think anyone who hasn't seen it, hopefully you have because you've listened this far, but it's worth checking out. I think everybody should watch it. As I mentioned before, I'm glad that it's getting some recognition. Is it going to win Best Picture? Probably not. Should it? I don't know. I don't even remember the other movies that are up. It's a very weak year.
Listen, let me tell you something, though, is that Strange Darling should have been considered for something. That movie, in my opinion, I love the substance. But I agree with you. Strange Darling was an amazing, insanely, I loved that movie. Yeah. I loved it.
It's a shame that it
it's so weird. We watch these things and I'm just like, wow.
Well, that's all money and marketing. Isn't that crazy? And even with the Oscar shit, it's because you have to campaign and whatnot to get even to the nomination shit. And there's a lot of money involved, a lot of political, it's a political game.
No, it really is, which is.
And then, it's fucking Amelia Perez and all that. We all know what that's about.
Listen,
we all fucking know what
I watched one of those songs and it's like, penis. I know, it's like, what is this? Rudy, I was like, oh my God. I was kind of shocked. I was like,
woman
wow.
to man, man to woman, penis to vagina.
Yeah. I was like, they did it. I'm surprised. I'm surprised more
it's
memes.
Real. No, I've seen so many videos and because there's part of me that I feel like I should watch it to do my due diligence, but also it's I just don't even care. I'm not going to watch most of these movies and it's already done. I don't even fucking give a fuck. But it's funny to see there's a lot of reviewers and people I watch that I trust. And there's many people that, because of all the controversy, are all right, I'll give it a look. And all of them are yo.
This is
wild.
My
God. It's and that's always the clip that keeps coming up.
Well, that's the one,
That's going to be the meme for fucking
forever. Because I was like, wow. But I just think it doesn't even
seem real. It seems like a joke. And didn't it, at the Golden Globes or something, it won Best Musical over Wicked?
Bro,
I don't even like musicals, but over Wicked? Get the fuck out of here.
There's no way.
Penis to vagina. I think so. Something like that. Yeah. I think it did. It either won song, the best song, or it won in the category of musical.
I know that Penis Vagina song did not beat out Ariana Grande.
Oh, sure did.
And Cynthia, no
What's
way.
that Anti-Gravity or whatever they say?
Defying Gravity. That song's so good. Or the popular song. But man, no, you're right. It's all just, there's a lot of politics. There's a lot of elbow room. There's a lot of hoo-hoo. And there's a lot of agenda. Mm-hmm. But we don't talk about all that now.
Yeah.
But everybody, I think, should see The Substance. This movie was so fun. And you gotta, it's a movie, guys. It's not, listen, Monstro Eliza Sue is not coming for anybody. It's just it's a great movie. And it has great commentary on real life things that us as women, we experience. And that men are probably going to experience too.
And creatively done.
Very creatively.
Yeah. And I will say this too, I put it off for a long time because body horror is really tough for me, and I knew that was an aspect of this movie. And it's not that bad. It's what I'm down with all of it.
Yeah,
it wasn't
because it wasn't
if you're
audition
me,
gruesome or have you seen Basket Case?
The Fly. Oh yeah, I like Basket Case. Yeah,
you remind me kind of a Basket Case.
yeah, she did have that look. Yeah, the Basket Case look. Yeah, it's not super terrible like that. So, and the effects are great too. All the practical and all that.
The acting is fantastic.
Makeup, all of it. Yeah. No. Yeah. Again, the roller coaster that Demi Moore goes on through the movie. I think about when she's preparing the turkey and she's meh, 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 when she's watching the show of her oh, you did this, then she's stuck in the this movie is crazy, man. Now I have to watch it again. I might get the Blu-ray. Now that we're talking about it,
right? I know, all these amazing parts.
Maybe I will watch it again soon.
We should. We'll do that and a revenge. You have to see Revenge.
I'm down. Yeah, I'll check it out.
Check it out because I would love to do a podcast on that one.
No, I'm down. I was hoping to watch it before this, but I just never got around to it. But yeah, I'll definitely check it out. I'm at episode 238 right now, and I think for episode 250, I was talking to my friend about this. I don't know what I'm going to do yet, but I kind of want to do something big, so I'm just planting the seed right now for you. Like, it'll either be maybe some kind of big live stream where I get like different people on that are like prior guests all together.
Like an anniversary
have, like, just like a live stream kind of party and just talk. Maybe we'll talk shit about the Oscars. I don't know. Or even like an in-person thing or some kind of like watch along. But that's a little harder to coordinate. But there'll be something. So stay tuned and you got to be around for that.
Oh, yeah.
Because you're one of the big co-hosts of the show.
I'm so down.
But yeah, shit. Yeah, I mean, if you got anything else to say, that's
the substance is fantastic. That's a wrap for me too. I love this movie. It's very touching and heartfelt.
All right. Yeah, that's a wrap, everyone. Cheers.
Cheers.
Thank you for listening to the Drinks and a Movie podcast. You can now find us on Instagram at Drinks and a Movie Pod, where we'll be posting photos from all the various films that we discuss. You can also email us at drinksandamoviepod@gmail.com. Please rate, review, and subscribe, and thank you for listening.